because I like it saucy. I like it like to be filled. Oh no, my screen. I was like, where's my picture of the mountains? Howdy, hi friends. Welcome back to my channel. Good to see all of you. Yes, it's been a minute. Sue me. But don't actually. Need to get my coins. Life has been crazy, not just for me, but for everyone. The country's a dumpster fire continuously. And I've been thinking a lot. I usually do like my what I think is funny takes on people's relationships, whether they're serious or not. So I thought about doing something that I like when YouTubers do, like Court Reezy and stuff like that, where it's like unpopular opinion. So I'm gonna share some unpopular opinions I have. Most of them will be like light-ish, but you know, I do think that there's something to say about speaking, telling people what it is. Let's just call it telling people what it is, okay, and what it ain't. So I'm going to give my unpopular opinion about a few things. Some will be lighthearted, most will be lighthearted. Some will be a little more serious, but I hope that you engage with me because it's not just funny stuff, but I just think important conversations. So with that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And babes, let's dive in. Okay, my first unpopular opinion, number one. I'm going to say that, hey, babes, you're not the prize. And guess what? Neither am I. Yes, I'm talking about relationships. We had to start with this one. I took a break from the apps, and I was talking to my therapist about it and some friends, and it's just been happening more recently. Like dating, at least even like online, 5 years ago was not like what it is now. There's this big sense of entitlement that people have, and there's this belief that their time is more valued, that they are. And I think I said a lot of this is related to like the algorithm. You're getting fed things that are like, you're a queen, you're a boss, you don't know anything. All your friends are telling you like, yeah, you're the prize, and like, while it's good to like hype up your friends, that kind of stuff, are you also holding them accountable? Where it's like, oh, they don't really text me back. And it's like, well, do you text them? I want them to like take me out. Do you take them out? Do you want to reciprocate behavior that like you want, or do you just want to receive things, right? Because if you want to receive things, you're not looking for a relationship that's a partnership. You're looking for a servant. And I think you go on TaskRabbit for that. But it's like, you can't expect someone to just be there for you emotionally, or, you know, provide these acts of service or do these different kinds of things for you and not reciprocate that back. You can't expect for people to be bending over backwards, finding time for you to go on dates, and you're just like, sorry, I'm busy. Everyone's busy, and they're trying to make time for you, but you're not putting in the same effort. And then you get upset if you get called out for it. Or you just make excuses for yourself. Just call it what it is. You might think that you have it, and you're more entitled to that. You're getting fed it through social media. You know, your friends, we have a little bit of toxic positivity going around. So like that could be encouraging you to just not be honest and say, no, I say I want a relationship, but I'm not actually putting in the effort to achieve it. So maybe instead of just bumping my gums talking about how everyone would be lucky to have me, maybe I do the work to say, what am I making sure that the way I want to be treated, I'm treating to someone else. Remember, do unto others as they would have them do unto you. That's the golden rule we all learned at elementary school. At least you did if you're a millennial. So, like, let's go back to that. It was very like, roll my eyes. I can't believe that we are in this place right now where people are complaining about not having anyone, but not willing to do any work to be the person they want. Right? That kind of duality doesn't exist. But later we will talk about duality that can exist, okay? Let's go. Unpopular opinion number 2. Now, listen, maybe I don't think this is like that controversial for a lot of people, but as growing up, pizza, one of my favorite foods. I hated it. I think I still hate it when people are like, oh, the crust is the best part. The crust is not the best part of the pizza. Stop. No, it's not. However, it is the thing that makes the pizza. It's a bit of a hot take. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you're like, I agree. I've had some pizza recently from some different shops. And the thing that, like, a pizza with some crust, it's soft, right? It's soft enough, but firm enough to hold it, especially when you have a lot of cheese and sauce, right? Because I like it saucy. I like it, like, to be filled. Oh no, my screen. I was like, where's my picture of the mountains? I like it to be filled and like heavy, especially if I have these extra toppings and stuff like that. I just want to make sure that the bread can hold up and not just being hard, like being like firm, right? There's something about a dough that can hold, but it's also still like has some softness, especially tavern style, which in Chicago, it's like you take a pizza, you cut it into like squares and stuff like that. Like when it's able to hold itself, top tier pizza. It really, really makes a difference. And I don't think enough people acknowledge how important the bread is. That dough, it has to be right. Okay? Unpopular opinion number 3. People often look at the queer community and say they're brothers and sisters together united. Racism is heavy. Heavy. It's actually quite sad that you have a group of people that are very much united by being, well, and not in a great way, but being like ostracized for being different, for sexual preferences, and being bullied, being butt of jokes throughout media, people having been disowned by families, people, I mean, like saying you're not even going to be able to get married soon, right? Because believe it or not, that was on the table. Some people didn't want to say the Florida gays didn't want to admit it, and now look at where we are. But something like you have a bunch of people that knows what it's like to be discriminated against across a variety of different races, religions, parts of the country where we grew up. Like there's the spectrum is wide for people that identify as queer. The amount of racism, and I can only really, I can't not only really speak. I really noticed this in like the gay community, and I think it's definitely racism, but also like fat phobic things. There's a lot of like just nasty behavior that should be coming from a community that really should be united. Like we all know what it's like to face these kind of unfair discriminations where people your whole life have been saying you're lesser than, and then to be a part of a group where instead of you're fighting for camaraderie, you're just finding the hierarchy within. It's absolutely disgusting. And some of you, I guess specifically, this is not specific, because skin folk ain't always kinfolk, okay? Okay? But there's some people I know that like, just because like you're a white male gay does not mean that you're the villain, but you might have a friend that's a villain and you don't want to check them because they're providing you a certain form of access. And that in itself is not being anti-racism, not being anti-racist. And in today's time, that's what you have to be. And there's no debate about that. Okay? We are anti-racism on this channel. Period. All right. Next, these two are kind of related. So, popular opinion number 4/5. 4 is going to be, I don't think generic cereals taste as good as the name brand. I don't. General Mills did not sponsor me, but if they want to send me some coin, I will take it. Frosted Flakes and flakes that have been frosted, they don't have the same taste. Frosted Flakes taste better. All these cereals growing up, they tasted better. I had the Aldi version growing up, and then sometimes at school, because of breakfast, I could have the name brand ones because that's what kind of came in the free breakfast kind of situation. And it was not the same. And I had to beg my mom, be like, I know, girl, I know we could save 50 cents, but please, can we just let me upgrade? Please, let me have some cornflakes, girls, the real ones, the one with the rooster, not the hen. Oh my gosh. But it really, I can taste the difference. And sometimes people are like, oh, I can go generic. Some things you definitely can. You definitely can. There is no change. Some things you can definitely taste the difference. And let's be clear, sometimes people are like, it's made in the same factory. Yes, but that does not mean it has the same ingredients. Come from someone that's worked in for a food company before. Just because it's on the same line does not mean it has the same ingredients. Or just because it's made in the same factory does not mean it has the same ingredients. Things are run on different lines, depending on who is making the product, the things that they're putting in. Are you allowed to put in certain products in this line? This line you're not, right? Usually more expensive products, depending on like what the cleanliness of their line. They're putting in less things in it. even though it could be using the same machine, right? There's a running time and a schedule. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday could be running this one item. Thursday's the clean, Friday, Saturday's the other brand. Don't let look, if you taste the difference, you're not crazy, okay? You're not crazy. And then the fifth one, I don't know if you've ever had this brand called Magic Spoon. It's trying to be like healthy and add protein. It tastes like all of them taste like I think it's one of the nastiest things I ever put in my mouth. I was trying to do a little protein kick. I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, I tried that, and I was like, I can't believe I spent $50 to eat some cardboard with sugar. It was nasty. Those people, if I meet that person on the street, listen. They hate to see me coming. All right. Unpopular opinion number 6: airports don't use the first gates. I say that as someone. So I currently live in Chicago. In the past year, I've flown from like this is the U.S. right? We have Boston, New York, Philly. I think I've flown Pittsburgh within the past year. Pittsburgh, Charleston, Miami, Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Somewhere, Minneapolis. Did I fly there within the past year? Maybe. But regardless, the thing is like there on like above it, Toronto. And I flew internationally, but usually when I fly internationally, I need to like fly to one of the coasts. But the point is, like here in Chicago, I've flown all the way around here. I never have a gate that's come through. So it's not like, oh, if you're flying south or you're flying north from this airport, it doesn't matter. I never at the first gate. I'm always towards the back. And I know I see people sometimes when you first walk in one of the first few gates, I don't think they ever fly out of there. I think it's like the whole pigeon thing. Like, I know pigeons are real. The reason you don't see them is because they like lay their nests very high up until they're ready to fly. And then that's when they come down. So that's why you don't see pigeons. But these people at the gates, I think before their flight comes, they move them to a different gate. I don't think anyone flies out of the first few gates. I think they're there for like display purposes only. I've never flew out of one, and I've flown a good amount. And if you have, FBI agent, calling you out. All right. Unpopular opinion number 7. Now, this one is a little bit of it's an unpopular opinion. No, it's a popular opinion, but with a twist, I would say. Like, you guys post too much of your personal life on social media. Absolutely. Unpopular opinion, I like it. I like here, like, I don't even know if I should get engaged. I mean, if he doesn't want to return my calls, why should I spend time with him? You're like, don't be like, people are like, you should not be putting your business out there. Like, I agree, but I love watching it. I love hearing what's going on in homegirl's life from middle school. I said, Jackie, what? Your man's not treating you right? I'll be eating it up, be looking at the comments, say who's saying what. People be, ooh, I love it. Keep it coming, friends. The only reason I haven't got rid of my Facebook, I said the drama from the past is good. It's almost like a reboot of a TV series. Oh my gosh, ridiculous. Okay, and the last one, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, great. I was like, I've lost count. All right, last one, number 8. You knew it was coming because I probably put in the title, the Charlie Kirk of it all. I don't want to spend too much time because I think he has gotten too much time. Here's what I want to say. There is this thing called duality, which is two things can be true at the same time, right? I myself, and let's be clear, here's the rhetoric that I've heard from a lot of creators, especially like, I'm gonna just call it, especially a lot of white liberal creators. 90 to 95% of them are white men, white cis men. So I'm gonna give that as a caveat. I don't care what side you're on. What happened to him was wrong, and we need not to encourage political violence. Great. So people on the left obviously feel that way because on the right feel that way because Charlie Kirk was a very big influence on that side. People on the left, I was searching. Did people make a few memes? Or like make some jokes. Yes, but okay, it's not time to rap. But put it in, the internet will always do that regardless of the situation. The amount, that percentage I saw was like non-existent. What I saw was just indifference, people not caring. And so I want to break it down to two things. People on the left, or that are usually describe themselves as progressive or liberal, have been calling for gun control since Columbine, since Sandy Hook, for like decades. This incident shouldn't have happened. Everyone is in agreement with that. No one is in disagreement that we have a gun problem in America and that this could have been avoided, or things like this can be avoided with stricter gun laws, right? There were also those 4 people in Colorado that were shot around the same time. There is an issue, and people on the left have been pushing for gun control. For me, I've been pushing for that for a very long time. And guess what? This incident of gun violence, does not change my opinion. It continues to encourage the reason for us to be more serious about gun control, because children shouldn't see their father get sniped in front of them. No one is in disagreement with that. And the thing that has made me mad about these white creators is they're doing something that is very could be very easily missed. There is an underlying current of, now you get to absolve him from all the things that he has done and said, when you spent your whole career assassinating this man's character. And let's be clear, rightfully so. This man said Black people were better off as slaves. He said women shouldn't have rights. They should only go to college to find a potential partner. Doesn't believe, believes in like, alligator Alcatraz and things of like that nature. Like, he was a fascist, he was a Nazi, and that's what it was. We are not allowed to just, well, he died unfairly. That doesn't change the acts that he did or who he was. Two things can be true at the same time. He could have been killed unfairly, and he could have lived a life that was absolutely heinous and unfair. And you cannot say that you are a person that is empathetic, right? Don't give me this whole morality bull crap. When you see a bunch of Native people and Black people that feel indifferent, I think you need to pause and say, am I looking at this from the right side of history? Okay? You are allowed to condemn the actions of someone that was heinous, right? You cannot say that like, oh, now it's rest in peace, and now maybe it's too much. You feel that way because now you feel like maybe you could be a target. You see yourself in this person. Well, guess what? If you don't stand on business, which is saying that like, I feel empathetic as a creator to all these different groups of people, from people that are trans when they're telling them to kill them, from people that are immigrants that are not getting due process. You're supporting and fighting for all these people, and you say you feel empathy for them, but you don't shed an actual tear, but you'll go on your live stream crying your eyes out for this man that you apparently hated. You're not showing empathy, babes. You are pretending and masquerading, hiding your own fear that these groups have felt for a long time. Because if you felt for these groups and know that their rights were being taken away and they were asked to be, some cases, murdered, you would not be up here weeping for this man. You could say, I feel sorry that this happened to him, but I also understand what he stood for was wrong. That did not mean he needs to die for his belief, right? It's not this full, robust conversation that has the acknowledgement of the duality. It's we keep the one, discard the other. And if you move like that, you're a snake. And if you're like, I didn't mean to be like that, okay, then think about your actions and especially look to other people. You can end up in a little echo chamber of yourself. Look at these different groups that have been affected in this country. And the biggest thing that I will leave you with, as someone that grew up in the church, was one of the things I saw was people just praising him for just being a good Christian man. What is a Christian man, right? Christians are supposed to be Christ-like, right? Following Christ, Jesus Christ, God, the Blessed Trinity. In Christianity, you believe in the Trinity. I don't think Catholics do the Trinity, but Jesus is God come down in the form of man, or, the Son of God, in the flesh as man, if you're a Catholic. Regardless, that is Jesus, head of the person you look to in your religion and how he lived on this planet. We have a story, parable of the Good Samaritan. So if you grew up in church, you know it. If not, I'll give you the nice quick version. One day someone asks, goes to Jesus, says, "Teacher," and I'm reading from the new, from NIV. "What must I do teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life? What is written in the law?" Jesus replied, "How do you read it?" And then the guy answered, and Jesus said this also in the book of Matthew, which is two chapters before in the Bible. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind. And so that's the first commandment that he calls it out as the first biggest commandment. And he says the second commandment to that, the thing that is almost just as important as that, he says that in the book of Matthew. And this guy is just relating what he heard as well, right? So this is just confirmation of what Jesus said earlier. And love your neighbor as yourself. Then Jesus said, you have answered correctly, right? So love the God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. You have answered correctly. Jesus replied, do this and you will live. But then the guy asked, well, then who is my neighbor? Who am I loving just as myself? So this, and then it proceeds to tell you the story. And if you want to look, it starts at Luke chapter 10, verse 25, like through 37. This is not a Bible study, so I'm not reading all this. But basically, there was a man who's going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. Presumably, he is a Jewish man, which will be important for later. He was attacked by robbers, stripped, beaten down, and left there to die. So a priest, a religious figure, walks by him, and he doesn't help him, right? And a priest, right? So what does a priest represent? A priest is the head of like the religion, right? They're the leader in the congregation, and whether it's a church, a synagogue, whatever, they are the leader, the person you look up to. This religious figure, the person that, for all argument's sake, should be the closest to God, passes him by. Okay. Second person comes by, a Levite. So Levite are people that were descendants from the, look, you can take the boy out the church, right? But you can't take the church out the boy. This person was also of Jewish faith or Jewish background. So it is to be implied that both of these people are of the same kind of group. They're part of the same group in terms of like lineage and or religion / faith. He also walks him by. Now, the Samaritan, who is not part of the faith and who actually is in opposition with Jewish people at this time, sees him, clothes him, bathes him, helps him, puts him in an inn, and he comes, tells the innkeeper, I'll be back. If he exceeds the bill, let me know. I will pay it forward. That is what the Samaritan did. The person who was not related, not the religious figure, who had disagreements with this other religious group, very strong disagreements, still showed up to help a human being that was a stranger to him. A neighbor is someone who lives amongst you. It is not defined by your religion, your creed, your race. That's not what the Bible says. It says it is someone that is in your vicinity, okay? And then Jesus says, which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the man that fell into the hands of the robber? And then the expert said, the one who had mercy on him, which was the Good Samaritan. That's the parable of the Good Samaritan. So Jesus said, go and do likewise. When you are supporting ripping children away from their families, when you're supporting stoning and killing people that are transgender, when you are pulling and like supporting and driving all of these policies that are meant to destroy, you are not loving your neighbor as yourself. You are doing heinous crimes against what Jesus always wanted. We sing songs like called God is Love, but the acts that are being done and the acts that he supported were not showing God is love. They were showing the exact opposite. So how do you say rest in peace, or like you'll see your people in heaven when you're doing the things that are antithetical to who Jesus was and what he told Christians to do? That's a question for you to sit with. That's a question for you. I know. I read it. That's a question for you. How do you sit there and say, I love Jesus with all my heart, and you can't love those around you? It's crazy. So, with that being said, that's duality, friends. Two things can be true at the same time. We do not need to pretend like gun violence is not an issue and that he was unrightfully killed. And we also do not have to pretend that he was some martyr. And we should not be looking at people saying they need to have empathy for a man who wish they were slaves dead or any other kind of like heinous, disgusting thing. If you believe that people should feel that way, check a look at your own heart, right? And maybe if you identify as Christian or a person of the word, maybe you go back and read your book about how we should love and accept those around us, because and know that people are wicked, and making sure we're condemning the right people. Maybe we do that. Woo! 10th unpopular opinion. We don't stay hydrated enough. I need to get some water. So with that, friends, thank you so much for today's video. Hopefully it wasn't too a little preachy at the end, but I do think it was a very important conversation. As fun as I like to make this channel, these are important things that I think could be brushed off. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. I would love to engage in a dialogue. And we will talk soon. Bye.